Hello, hello. If you think you can't make dangles without spending money, stay right here. Welcome to Museful Creations, friends. I'm Betsy. And tonight is our Use What You Have Dangle night. So I hope you saw these funky bottle caps, I think. Always bottle ring, I think. Yes. And thank you, my sweet husband. He's the best. So grab these and some stamps, some very basic stuff whoops, I thought the volume was off on my phone. And here we go. Sorry about that. And let's get started. So someone told me they'd love to make dangles but can't spend money, and I completely understand. Less is more, and I'm constantly encouraging use what you have in your stash. So you're not under-equipped. You just haven't noticed maybe some of the supplies that you have in your stash. Yay! Happy that you're here. So what we're going to do first is if you don't have circle paper punches, you can trace and make your own circle. So what we're going to do first is, and I think this circle shape is 1 1/4 inch, I believe. I always like to, when I make dangles, depending on what surface I'm using, I want to use something sturdy. So I'm just using a spaghetti box from my recycle bin that I have in my office. Well, it's more like a bag. And then you're going to lay your scrap of paper right on the top. Okay? Now, if you've watched some of my lives, you know that I love using my alcohol inks, and I've had these for over 20-something years, so I'm just using what I have in my stash. And here's ginger. I don't even know if they sell this color anymore, but I'm going to use it on the applicator. And I want to cover this because I've already spilled it a couple of times. You're going to take your bottle ring, just like so, and dab it around. I mean, you can use UV resin and all that sort of jam, but I'm trying to keep it basic and simple. And if you don't have alcohol inks, you can use permanent marker. Just an idea. And I'm going to do a little bit more to speed this up just a tad. They come in different colors. Like, I've been saving these for a while, and I've got to ask my mom to save them for me because she saves other things for me too. So if you don't have these in your stash, maybe a friend, a family member, a coworker, someone at church, if you have, yes, or alcohol markers. Absolutely, Andy, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you probably could use all sorts of different mediums, but this seems to be the easiest. And I don't mind that it has a little bit of white on the inside, but if you're persnickety about that, you can color it. And what I love about the alcohol inks is that it dries super, super quick. Okay? Now, what I want to do is, I love using stamps in my art. Completely up to you if you prefer to use something else, but I love to use my stamps. If I have it, I want to incorporate it as much as I can. Now I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to grab a funky splash kind of image, and I'm going to use this one here. And what I want to do is I'm going to use Vintage Photo. And I'm just going to go around the edges to give it a little bit of pop. And here I'm going to go this way. Okay, so that's one way to do it. And then what you want to do is, let me grab this here. If you don't have this little tool to rough the edge, I shared the other night in Tuesday's video that you can use a pair of scissors that has the ridges, and there you have that effect. You can also, before you glue your circle, before you glue this circle on top of the cardboard, you can fold it. And let me show you what I mean. You can fold it like this and like that, and use your dauber like so and rough it just a little bit. Okay, that's another option. So now what I want to do is quickly do this, and it makes it pop. Now, the next step is you want to use the I think it's the 1/8 inch. You want to try to bring it, don't punch a hole towards the edge. Bring it up just a little bit. And then here, you want to bring it down just a little bit. And it doesn't really matter where you punch it. The key is just to punch a hole so that you're able to lay your bottle ring on the top. And then what you want to do is, I don't know if I want to use this glue. It takes forever to come out. And this one, I can't squeeze it too hard because then too much will ooze out. And no, I mean, you could use your glue gun, but honestly, sweet friends, it might be too much glue, and you don't want too much glue. And this is 3-in-1, so it stays pretty secure. And then you just put it in like so. And now what I want to do is put this back, put this here. I'm going to grab this ribbon, well, it's floss, and I'm going to feed it. How do I want to do this? Yeah, like this. If I could feed it through, like so. Okay, now you can dangle it just like this, okay? Just like that. Or, you know, I like to always add a little bit of this or that. So you can tie it twice. And then grab a jumbo paper clip, and tie it twice, like so. And then here, you can add another piece of the floss, or if you don't have floss, use thread. If you don't have thread, you can use ribbon. It's completely up to you. If you don't have a bead chain, just look at what you have in your stash. You feed it through, and you can add another dangle, okay? And this will go perfectly, just perfectly in, let me just show you here. just like that. And it'll hang over your page. Yes. So that's what I mean. This is soup. You can make these with your nieces, with your child. This would be a great vacation Bible school activity. I was a teacher back in my days, so a lot of things come naturally to me because I was a teacher for many, many years. And a lot of things that I did with my students in the class, I incorporated also in my crafting. And it's truly a blessing and a joy to be able to do that. So this is, you're so sweet. You as well. This is just super, super easy to create. So this is number one, okay? Now, I do have another option. This is super basic. If you're beginning, I made something else that I'll show you in a little while, okay? Now, the second one is a completely Betsy thing. You don't have to do it, but think of what you might have in your stash that you want to give it a little bit of dimension. So this stamp, I stamped this before the show, and I used an archival ink, and then I used clear embossing powder. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the ginger alcohol on my applicator and switch this around. I don't want to use you could use plastic, use some gloves to protect your hand, but your fingers, but I just want to use that tool. So it just makes it easier. And I'm going to apply the same. And this really, it dries instantly, and I love that effect. Like that. And you can do the top if you want. Turn this around. Just a little bit more. And I like that when you go around it a second time, it's darker. I hope you can see that. You can blow on it if you want to also dry it. So that's done. I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And then what I want to do is, while that's drying, because I want it to be completely dry, I'm going to grab the same splatter stamp. I'm going to grab this block. And that's why I love this community, because we learn from each other. You know, that's what's so wonderful. And if you think that you can do it a different way, absolutely, by all means. And as I like to say, and when I was a teacher, and then I moved into administration, sharing is caring. It truly is. It really is a very special community. It's amazing. Lots of kind-hearted, sweet souls, wicked creative in our own way. And then what I want to do next is, I did this, I've done this a few times in my videos, but it really does add a nice effect. And that's why I stamped the image with an archival permanent kind of ink, because I can go back and add water and it won't smear. And I just wanted to stress this a little bit more. And I love that effect. Okay? And now what I want to do is grab my... Yes. We would say that all the time to the children. Sharing is caring. And what does Miss Betsy say? Sharing is caring. Oh. Okay, so that's dry. And now what we want to do is, this is the fun part. Now we're going to grab, I do need to use this, so please bear with me, sweet friends. I'm going to try to ooze this out as quickly as I can. And I do have my head down because I want to focus. And what I'm doing is applying this glue, and I think it's Aleene's, I don't know, I can't remember. I don't know what I have in here. But you want to put it on the flat side of your bottle ring. And then you're going to put it right in the center of whatever it is that you want for it to be the focal point of your dangle, okay? Whether you can do the same if you don't have this image, okay? Just be mindful of that. And then, now, what you're going to do is this has to completely dry, okay? Completely dry. Because if you can see there, you can see a little bit of the glue, and that glue will dry clear once it's set. And then what I did is I looked at my circle die cuts. I mean, you could possibly use a circle paper punch. I don't know. I've never tried it, but I always have better luck with these guys. So then I took and I punched this out, okay, with the die cut. And then what I did is I then add this glue, and I'm not going to do this right now because I want to show you why I'm holding off. I'm going to use this glue all around the roughness, I'll do it sideways, the roughness of the bottle ring. And then you're going to add your little micro beads or tiny jewelry beads. You could use rice if you don't have beads, okay? You can color your rice as well, and you can use little confetti things. And then you're going to lay this on top. Is that not cool? I literally thought about this last night as I was setting things up and thinking about, wait a minute, girl, you could do this and that. I was flabbergasted. How the ideas just come to my mind. It was so stinking fun. And then this is what I did last night because I just had so much fun. So once everything dried, I took the applicator with the ginger alcohol ink, and then I just go like this around the edge, and it gives it that stain kind of vintage, because it's a vintage lens that optometrists used way back in the day. And then I used a butterfly stamp to attach it just like that. And this is something that I made, back in November, and I just grabbed it. But that's another way to use your recycled stuff. You don't really have to get too complicated. Just, pause for a minute. Thank you. Hey, how are you? It's Allie, correct? I just want to make sure. Welcome. And to all you that are here, hello, hello. So that's one way that you can create. Whoops, sorry about that glare. Okay. Now, of course, there's a gabillion things that you can do, and I'm going to give you a couple more tips. If you don't have floss, embroidery floss, if you don't have thread, you can dye these with your alcohol ink or your alcohol marker or whatever you'd like. Hello. Yes, my crafty sister. You're so sweet. And this is what I also created. I did the same technique that I showed on the first one. The cardboard for stability, the scrap piece of paper, I stamped on it. I took a bottle ring and used alcohol inks, placed it on the top. I did use an eyelet on this one, but you don't have to. Then I used the bottle tap, whatever you call these things. I don't drink tonic. But I grabbed them from the cans. and then you just use your ribbon or whatever you have, and that's another dangle. I know this is a little bit more mixed media, but that's how I think. And then super, super basic, super easy. If you have an image of choice, you can stamp it, emboss it, and then do the ink smooching technique on the open spaces. Then add your circle in the middle with your stamp. Then emboss it with clear embossing powder. And then add a little bit of faux tape. Okay? And this is what I mean by faux tape. And then add this bottle, the can opener thingy, and punch 2 holes on your label of choice and just string it. And then you can add it to whatever you'd like. It could be on your cover, on your tag, whatever you'd like. Thank you so much. So this is pretty much it, sweet friends. Look at what you have, look at your recycle. If you don't have it, ask your family member to start saving things for you. That's what I do. My sweet mom is so precious. She sent me these from her country, and sometimes I save them, sometimes I don't, but she has a bag of a billion of these. So, that is it for today. I am super happy that I had some of you here absolutely, it's a joy, it's a pleasure, and I cannot thank each and every one of you for your support, your kindness, your likes, your comments, your questions, and I hope this will encourage you to use what you have. And then, as I showed you the other day, in my video, the vintage keeper, these will fit nicely, just like so. And then you're able to keep these nearby so that you use it. So I hope you have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for spending some time with me and for participating and commenting. And I hope to see you again very, very soon. Have a blessed, safe evening. Take care.